looking. He's going to heave one deep down the field. It's going to be to the goal line. It's going to be gone. It's a touchdown, and the Gators have won.
Good evening, good afternoon, ladies and gentlemen. Welcome back to another episode of High Top Sports. The Piss Missiles are engaged, ladies and gentlemen. Let's have an absolute banger of a show. Steve and Chad, welcome, my friend. How are you doing, bud?
Fantastic, my man. It is good to see you again. How are you today, my man? I'm
doing wonderful. The hangover is gone, right? It's a new week. Let's forget about it. Let's move on. Let's dial it in, boys and girls. Let's have a good week. Let's have a great show. We've got some huge recruiting news that's coming up. I can't say too much, but I'm going to say what I can. We got a little AR Revenge Tours on the way. We had a great interview that I listened to from Denny Thompson, which is his quarterback coach that was on 1010XL this past week. Really cool information. We're going to break that down, hear what he had to say, because everyone's had their opinion this week on AR, on Billy, on Gators as a whole. The toxicness was at an all-time high this week. We felt the wrath. It's been quiet on Frontier, but it's been nuts. We're going to break down that little Florida versus USF, get into Billy Bags, Billy Nutsack, kind of talk about what he was going over through this week, some things that he said that I really enjoyed. And then our favorite new show where Steve and I can't make a basket is college football pick'ems. We're going to dial it in here. But before we get into all that just, beautifulness, welcome to the stream, boys and girls. Welcome to High Top Sports. And you guys have already seen in the chats, we got hats, boys and girls. Listen, you know what I'm saying? Look at that. Little lock. We got a little orange and blue for the Gator squad. And if you want like an everyday kind of rock, we got the black too, because we keep it fresh. There's only a few of them. Links in the description. Put your order in. We'll ship them to you. A little note, because they're all personally all made. There's only 24 of each color, so better get them while supplies last. Let's go.
Top boys. Thanks for.
If you want to sign, we can maybe sign the inside here. Why not? I don't know if you want our signatures, but if you guys do, I guess that's what I mean. It's the least that we could do. Garrett Bull, what's up, big dog? Hey, shout out to Garrett, my man. He sent us a ticket this past week, which we were able to give to a lucky Gator fan that had fun. So shout out to Garrett for being an awesome sport there. He had an extra ticket that he was able to shoot over. Appreciate the support, man. You're the bomb, man. It really means a lot. Let's say hey to the chat and let's get into the show, boys and girls. What's up, baby? How you doing? Cody Phillips, Justice Williams, go Gators. Absolutely. What's going on, man? Ted C. What's going on? How you doing?
Clitoris sighting. Everybody, hide your kids, hide your wives.
Clitoris. We got some good news. What's up, LFGM? Ricky says, let me get that hat. Bashay, what's going on? Gator Gang 22, welcome back, baby. It's been a while. Check your fantasy football team, bro. Make sure you log in. On the plus side, both the Mets and the Braves want to lose a division. It's been a crapshoot for sure. TK Gator Nation, what's going on, man? Adrian, the stash looks luxurious. It's getting luscious. It's getting thick. I'm starting to eat it again. I want to forget and move on. I agree. EJ Dub, Chris Sorle, what's up, baby? Phoenix Reserve, let's go, baby. Joseph, how you doing, man? The Priest, what's up, big dog? Alex Compton, Ashton G, welcome to the stream, baby. Litterist, my boy. Cody, we met Cody this weekend. Good stuff, man. Glad to meet you, man. Pleasure. And I think that's all I said. Ooh, Nate Tyson, what's going on, man? How you doing? Welcome to the stream. Payne Walker, what's good, baby? What's good? Michael Horn, how we doing? All right, boys and girls, let's have a great show. Thunderclap Packs, what a name! What?
That's got a little flavor to it right there. It just that's a name you don't forget. Like, oh, Thunderclap's back.
Yeah, right.
Pack.
Look how we get the show started. A little super chat from old Chris Sorley, my man. Beer from my Gator brothers. Yes, Holly, you're a Gator brother. I love it. Let's go, baby. Little juice for the boy. I love it. Show him some love there. All right, boys and girls, welcome to the show. David Myers, what's going on, man? We're going to do a little bit of recruiting. So I have a little inside scoop. They're going to name nameless here to protect their identity. But I can't say too much. But they did want me to say, this is all I got. This is all that I received in the text message. Because I don't know any names. And here's why this is good, because I want to give my predictions on who I think it's going to be. And I don't know anything. So I'm not breaking any rules. I'm simply just, All hypothetical here. But I did receive a GIF, and the GIF was pancake slipping. That's all I got. And then I got it's two names that nobody's thinking of. That's all I got. That was it. That's all I got.
Okay.
So I started doing some scrubbing here, started doing some digging. Let's figure out what's going on here, right? So I did see where Jakeem Jackson, he came out, who obviously is committed, and he spoke on who he's going after. Two guys that we mentioned when they didn't come along, which Jakeem Jackson, well, this was supposed to be a part of the three-headed monster. Remember that day, Steve? That was supposed to be a good day. With this supposed to be John Walker, LeBlanc, and Jakeem. That was supposed to be the boys that came over yonder together. Well, we know John went to UCF, which was very strange. Seemed a little uncanny for him to do that, although his mom does work there. It just felt off, right? That UCF's pulling that. Now, UCF had a rough weekend, so now maybe things might be falling back a little bit. He has visited Florida 3 weekends in a row. 3 weekends in a row, John Walker has been there. So that's a lot of time to be visiting at one school. That's aggressive. Okay. And then LeBlanc obviously is Oklahoma. I haven't heard anything about him visiting, but I know Jakeem's obviously been in his ear. And Dejon Johnson was another one that he mentioned, which we obviously all know about the Dejon situation with rivals breaking that early, kind of ruining that momentum and possibly even ruining that recruit coming in. So he's kind of been MIA ever since, but I know they're still talking to him. So that's good to hear that we're still in his ear. But my biggest pick, I think, is going to be John Walker. I think we're all kind of like moved on, but I recall when both John and Derek both committed, they both mentioned Florida. They both mentioned how Billy has been heavily recruited and how Florida said, look, appreciate your decision, respect your decision, but we're still going to be coming after you heavily and recruiting after you heavily. I think we've mentioned this before. I think the first 2 games, the offensive line has looked phenomenal. And there's a redshirt freshman starting at right tackle, I believe, for us. So that speaks volumes to these guys. Like, one, again, we've mentioned this entire time, I can come in and play and be effective and be part of a winning team. And I think that's going to be huge. And O-line isn't something that we've struggled on the recruiting side. So that one, that's kind of beat the dead horse there, but it looks good. 2024 is looking solid as well, but I want to kind of focus on this year more so right now. There's also a 4-star defensive back. 247 has him at a 3-star, but I think it's pretty close. Is Bryce Thornton, defensive back. He's heavily he's trending towards the Florida. I believe his date has been committed to around October-ish when he's going to commit. Originally, he didn't have a date, so that's good to hear on those ends. It would be nice to get some good news. Right? It's been a little rough on the front end for Florida, just Florida channels, Florida fans. I feel like we all went to hiding and kind of just hibernation over the past weekend, and that's kind of where we're at right now. Right? So we're trying to have a little bit of a bounce back, and some good news like that would get the juices flowing again. And again, these guys would be a huge pull for that 2023 class that's already hot in that top. We're obviously ranked 12th at the moment. So, again, John Walker is a big one for me. We got Keeley, who was there this past week. I think he's going to take his time. A 5-star guy. I think he's going to get a lot of love from a lot of places. Jordan Hall, who is a Florida State lean, he was there. He's a Jacksonville local boy. He was just there this past weekend. He said it was a crazy thing to experience. The atmosphere every day on the game, I think it's hard to beat. And I think, look, that's something that people don't realize, like just how great the atmosphere is. Again, taking an L is never good for recruiting. I think, though, if you go back and watch the film and watch the tape, we could see where the L's were, right? There wasn't sloppiness on the areas where these players are. I think we can all kind of look and see where it was. It was just a struggle at the quarterback position, not necessarily just everything. Everything else looked pretty healthy. The wide receiver core, I can't even say anything bad about them. I think everything else looked good. Few misplay calls here and there, and a few big plays for Kentucky. But go ahead.
Look. Sometimes in a scenario where you have a loss in front of a lot of recruits, it's not difficult to spin that into a positive. If you've had a bad offensive line game and you've got offensive line recruits there, you can simply say this game came down to a couple of plays and it was due to our offensive line. You can make an instant impact. I think just because there's a loss at a game, especially of that magnitude, you can find ways to spin positives out of it. And I've used this example for Florida State taking a loss when Notre Dame came. We had Lorenzo Booker, who was there. He was the number 1 overall recruit from California. He was a Notre Dame lean. He came to the Notre Dame Florida State game. Notre Dame beat Florida State, but it was more about the experience that he had and how we showed him how he could have been the impact in that game. Let's say you're making these plays. That game may be different. So I don't think it hurts recruiting too badly, because these guys are players too. They understand that the games happen the way that they do. And if the position coaches and the recruiting coach that's handling them can show them how, look, you could have made this play or you could have made a difference here, I don't really think it hurts so much because of the loss. As long as the fan base stays confident, the coaches stay consistent, that's where you want things to be. Like, the loss on the scoreboard and the environment was still great. It was still an electric crowd. So I don't think it's quite as mental as you think it is.
No, that's a great point. I think it's how you can spin it, and I think that's where the recruiting aspect comes into play. And again, it was a shit situation, right, in a sense, because the loss happened. But look, and I see Gator Gangs. If July you would have told me we 101, I would have taken that without question. And I think we as Florida fans, our expectations changed drastically after week 1. Our hype. I mean, I didn't help with that. I showed up with a damn spacesuit the next day, so I take full responsibility of creating the hype. And I actually talked about something today. I think, look, taking this L is good. In a weird way, it's good. The L was going to happen eventually. And so something Billy talked about, we're going to get into Billy kind of in his press conferences, it's the way he carries himself. But I love when he said this, because somebody asked the question, how are you handling the hangover? And he kind of shook. I was like, that was, I love questions like that where you can kind of describe how you're feeling, with certain words. And he goes, I wouldn't necessarily call it a hangover. I would call it like it's getting a speeding ticket. And you could put yourself in that situation. You're like, damn, he's right. Because think about when you're speeding, you're feeling good, you're flowing, you're not worried about anything. And then what happens when you get a speeding ticket? You get those kind of like those goosebump feelings, right? Kind of like you get like white in the face. You feel kind of numb for a quick second, like, I messed up. Like
explain the one that you had on the way down to Steinhatchee.
Yeah, right. You're kind of just flowing. You're not worried about it. You get pulled over. You're like, oh, son of damn. You know what I mean? Like you knew you were doing something wrong, and it's like you get caught out for it, and you're like, it sucks the moment, but the bounce back is much easier because it's not sluggish. It's not like a hangover, right, where you're kind of groggy and you're just like, why did I do that? It's like, look, we were flying high, we were rocking and rolling, and we just kind of got punched in the mouth. And it's like, all right, I just got to regroup. Like, I just got to get back to focusing on my A's and Q's and making sure that I'm going the speed limit and not doing anything stupid. I know how to drive the speed limit, right? I just decided to go fast today. So I loved that analogy, and I loved that his approach to it. We're going to get into, I have some other things that he did too that he did really well that I loved. But yeah, I love how you said, hey, it's a good thing. You can turn this into a good thing for recruiting. I still think that it's important to notice the hype behind it. If you go look at the Miami games, like, nobody was there. It's pathetic. And
right.
The second thing, too, is we're the only school the only college football team that has played 2 ranked teams their first 2 games. I've been saying this from the beginning, and this isn't excuses. It's just stating the facts. It's simply just looking at what's in front of us and acknowledging, like, look, it's frustrating because as Florida fans, like, I don't know what the expectation is. Everyone's frustrated. Look, it sucked because of the way we lost, which was part of it, but everyone's frustrated about the loss, and I get that. But what are you expecting? Are you expecting that we're going to get Nick Saban? And everyone's like, some Belly can't do it. Okay, so let me ask you a question. Who are you going to go get? Jimbo Fisher, who lost this weekend to Appalachian State, who paid $1.2 million to come play? Are you going to get Notre Dame's new head coach, who just lost to Marshall? Are you going to get Scott Frost, who just lost to Georgia Southern and got fired? Like, at some
Brian
point,
Kelly, who couldn't win an opening game, and like this guy was.
Where do you want to go?
What are you looking for?
Yeah, because everyone's a genius when they lose, and everyone knows that they can do the job a lot better and they can make play calls a lot better. Where would you go? Tell me, right? Like, let's slow down for a minute and let's all relax. We got to relax and dial it in and understand that this is a process. Saban was not born overnight, boys and girls. Like that. That's all we care about anymore. It's just how do we get to there? It takes time. To be great takes time. It's not going to happen overnight. Look for how far, like, we're not even close to where we want to be, but it's taken us a long time to get to this point. It's taken, like, you guys have been watching for I don't know how long, but we've been live for a year, but I've been studying cameras and film and all that stuff for 7+ years, and it's now starting to come together. The stuff takes time. As Gator fans, we have to chill out and allow for stuff to develop. Now, something I want to go into really quick is, I put a survey out at the beginning of the stream. Where do we think we finish? 11-1, 9-3. I think 7-5 was an option. 55% of you are saying 9-3. That is look, there's a lot of positivity. That's a phenomenal finish. Phenomenal finish. Why would anybody upset with a 9-3 finish?
I can't see it, especially with that schedule, right? That means that you're getting out of I think it was Dominic that said it, if I'm not mistaken. Like, you're going into week 3, 1-1. You've got the Utah game, you've got a Kentucky game, you're 1-1. You've got Tennessee out there. You know you have Georgia, right? You've got a difficult gauntlet of games, and even if you go to the SEC championship, let's just say forecasting things, go to the SEC championship and lose it, that you're at 9-3. Like to try to put the crown on Billy too fast, I think is going to be the heavy is the head that wears the crown. It just, guys, give the dude a minute. Give the dude a minute. Now, I won't say that everything that happened in the Kentucky game was great, and I think there were certainly some things that they can take away from it from a coaching standpoint. I don't put it all on the players, to be completely honest, but from the landscape of what Billy's done so far with the recruiting, with just the overall mindset, with bringing in some of these motivational speakers. Again, these things they're not instant gratification. It's going to take him some time on an SEC college football level and in playing some of these difficult teams to have the type of success and to have the losses. Look, you've got to have a couple of losses from time to time in order to really take away what you need to be doing differently. The worst part is sometimes if you win too early, too often, you feel like you got it all figured out.
Sure.
Again, Nick Saban lost to Louisiana Monroe his first year back in college football. It's the same guy who turned LSU into a powerhouse with Jimbo Fisher as an offensive coordinator, and I cannot for the life of me remember who his defensive coordinator was. It might have been Orgeron, I'm guessing there. But, I mean, like, the guy, it took him a while to get LSU there, and he got him there. He left. It took him a while to get Alabama there. It's not going to happen overnight. It's just not. And I think that's just the way that the college football fans think, is they get so excited and hyped up. But you're just setting yourself up for a little bit of a letdown. The guy's doing an amazing job. As much as I hate to say it, he's doing a great job.
Look at Kentucky. Look who we lost to on Saturday. We lost to a tenured coach who has been able to stay there and work his way through and figure it out. Now, is Kentucky going to be a powerhouse team? No, but everyone's projecting to go 11-1. And did it take a long time to get there? Sure. But now Kentucky is somewhat established with Stoops. You can't say they're not. And I know
Mark Stoops is a great hire for them too. And he was our defensive coordinator, and he's been amazing for them for what they were asking for anyway.
In no way, shape, or form. And this is me not being negative or sour puss or anything about losing to Kentucky. Kentucky beat us hands down, but Kentucky still looked like crap. I stand behind that. Defensively, they looked okay. Offensively, I wasn't sold. I don't feel like they beat us in that game. And it's not me taking a shot. It's just me being honest. Florida obviously didn't look any better either, so I'm not taking a shot here. Like, I would like for Kentucky to do well. Like, they've earned it. They've earned the right to do well. But we need to appreciate the process. Like, this stuff, it's the whole, like, not to be cliche, but, like, appreciate the journey. That's what makes winning that much better. As a Braves fan, trust me as this, okay? Trust me. I'm going to get, like, sentimental here for a minute. My wife and I, when the Braves won the World Series back in October, were sitting on our couch after spending the last 3 days in Atlanta at the World Series, okay, watching at the Battery on the big screen with our childhood best friend who we have watched baseball with our entire lives. I'm going to get emotional here in a minute if I don't slow down. And I looked at her when we won, and I go, how amazing is this? I go, all those times that we wanted to win, all those years that we wanted to win, if that was the case, if we had went to the World Series 3, 5, 6 years ago, we wouldn't be able to do what we did this time. We wouldn't have been able to go for 3 days and spend it at the Battery because the Battery didn't exist. We wouldn't have been able to be there with Connor, right? And when they won, we bought all this merch. I was like, and we wouldn't have been able to buy all this nonsense, useless merch that we're never going to need because we weren't ready. But now, look at it right now. We get to appreciate it now, and it's so much better now. The year before, during the COVID year I wanted to go, so glad we didn't win. So we may think we want it right now, ladies and gentlemen, but I promise you, there's a path in place. There's a rhyme or reason for everything. Be patient, okay? Good things are coming. Good things are going the right way. Trust the process. It makes when you get there that much more special. And that's all I'm going to say about that. I'm going to leave it at that. We got a few super chats. I don't want to get teary-eyed on the chat tonight.
Whoa,
okay?
boy. Like, you got me hitting right now, baby. Hit me.
Good. What's up, Papa Stokes? Welcome to the stream. We got a $2 super chat from Literis. It says Steve Adizio. I feel like
that's it's your former offensive coordinator, I think.
Oh, I thought it was like a name. I was like, what are we doing here? We got one more from.
No. I love the fact that you're that like sheepish about like going.
Scared money don't make money.
From Ben Smith says, let's let Billy and AR have time. AR is a very good quarterback and has a wicked arm. Billy is a very good coach. Give them a year to figure it out. I couldn't agree more. It maybe even 2. Look, 2024, that's going to be a good year too. Let's not that 2023 class is going to need some time, but that's a great time. Gator Gang says, guys, listen to Holly.
Yeah.
If anybody knows about losing, it's an FSU man. I love it. I love it.
Keep in mind, going in, Bobby Bowden had lost a significant amount of games before Jimbo Fisher was the head coach in waiting. That concept didn't exist until Jimbo was at FSU. And eventually it kind of pushed Bobby out because Jimbo was ready to take that role. It didn't mean that Jimbo got instant gratification, even though he had been there and had the chance to start to kind of build his own talent on the offense. It still took him a little while before, we got to the EJ Manuels and even the Christian Ponder and obviously Jameis, which took us to the championship. But guys, that was even with him being on the staff under Bobby Bowden, who could recruit anybody, it still took him a little while to get where he wanted to be on a consistent basis. And that's what, 5 years after Bowden left that it took him to get to that point. Guys, it's a slow burn. I hate to tell you it's a slow burn, but losses are going to be a part of it, at least for now.
Yeah, it has to be. Like, for us to go out there and think we're going to be undefeated the first year is nonsense. And Papa Stokes says, I can't disagree, but Stoops had these guys for years. That's another thing I want to say. Billy's had them for 8 months. This wasn't Billy's team. And I'm not saying look, you only have 8 months to get to know these guys, have them buy into you, buy into the process, believe in the situation. People are going to be frustrated because they're not starting when they believe they should start. You got a bunch of young guys coming. There's a lot that's going on. And look, we're not making excuses. An L's an L. You have to learn from it. The game, we should have won the game. But again, it's part of the growing pains. Okay. Let me do. We're gonna go over something here. So this past weekend, Denny Thompson was on 1010XL here in Jacksonville. It's a local channel, and he's AR's coach, and he gave some great insight. What I loved here, because this is where I was having a hard time. I was like, I don't want to roast anybody because we have these players on. We talk to them. They've been awesome to us, being able to be part of the Gator Collective and work with them. So I find myself in a weird situation sometimes because it's not negativity, but it's simply just, look, our job is to give you our opinions on what we witnessed. And there is, we kind of had we were holding on AR, and he breaks it down because here's where the concern was at AR. Here's where my thoughts were, right? Did AR get exposed and he struggled, or was there a lot of outside pressure and he just made a few mistakes and just rushed things and it's an easy fix? Those were the concerns. If it's an easy fix and you know what you did wrong, no problemo. If there's hey, we don't know what happened, that's where it kind of gets concerning. And Denny Thompson breaks that down. So we're going to listen to their interview here, and you guys can hear it as well. And then we're going to kind of pause it and go through it here. So just give me a second.
And Denny, by the way, just in case anybody doesn't know, Denny Thompson runs a quarterback camp here in Jacksonville. He has been ingrained into football for about as long as I can remember. A lot of the successful quarterbacks that have come out of Jacksonville area high schools have gone to him. Nice.
Yeah, Marcus is. I want to say Marcus has worked with him as well.
Yeah, there you go. This guy knows what he's talking about when it comes from understanding the quarterback's talent, understanding the situation that the quarterback is being put in, and just the overall, just kind of the flow of the game. This guy knows football. Go ahead.
Absolutely. All right, so here's his interview, and he actually talks about the play calling as well. Is it not going through the? I'm not connected for some reason. Please hold for the technical difficulties. We will be up and here we go. Wonderful. What's going on here? First day on the job, boys. It was working before, remember, Steve?
Yeah. We listened to it beforehand, at least a little bit.
Never fails, boys.
Look, if it's not me not having a microphone, if it's, I believe it was Uncle Lou that said I was talking it into an old flip-flop.
Here's what happened on a very, very basic level is Anthony tried to be something he's not. And he went into that game, and Anthony is very much a energy guy. And if you see Anthony in the facility, you know before he ever throws how he's going to throw based off of, is he bouncing around? Is he himself? Or is he taking himself too seriously? And it's not a confidence thing. It's actually the opposite.
Okay.
It's a identity thing. It's what am I as a quarterback? What am I as a future draft pick? All that kind of stuff. And so I don't think that last week got in his head necessarily the way people would think it did. I think it actually had the reverse effect and made him almost think too much of, hey, I can throw the ball. There's 22 scouts here, and I can sit in the pocket and I can throw the ball and things like that. And he forgot to have fun. And I won't name the coach, but I got a text before the game that just said, don't like this. Like, just from his demeanor.
A coach on the staff.
Yes.
Okay.
And it's just he was too serious. It wasn't nerves. It was he created something that was bigger than what it needed to be in his own head, right? And he wasn't fluid at all. Anthony is a very fluid athlete in anything that he does. You guys watched the game. There was nothing fluid about it. It's nothing that Kentucky did. Kentucky didn't do much different than Utah did. I would argue that those two teams are very similar.
I mean, certainly, I agree.
They felt
and I'm not sure
similar.
which one's better than the other.
There is one thing I will say, though, that they did a great job with the QB spy. They locked him down with the QB spy where he would roll out and he'd try to get comfortable, and the linebacker was all over him. So I will credit you, Kentucky on that play calling for their defense. But it's interesting to say because there was 15 scouts there, right? And look, I get what he's saying. 22, excuse me. And I get what he's saying here, right? It's like, look, you went out there trying to, like he says, it wasn't like it was nervous and you were almost too confident. And what I love this too is that he gets too excited and too high and too emotion. That's exactly how I am. And what sucks when you are that is when you're on, because I speak from experience when it comes to the show, when I play golf, right, competitively, if I wasn't having fun, I sucked. The last tournament that I did, I told my wife, I said, look, when I'm playing, if you see me get frustrated, just say, hey, are you having fun? The biggest thing I want to go out there and do is have fun. And I finished in third. I kicked ass. And I didn't get too frustrated, never got too high, never got too low. I was like, I'm out here playing golf competitively. Like, how cool is this? And that's all I kept saying to myself. And I started to put my pressure on myself after the fact, and then it wasn't fun anymore. And I started sucking again. So I believe that through and through. And it's great because, again, when you're having fun and you're locked in, it's a game. Same thing with this show. I am dialed in, okay, as we like to say here. And I can flow with the
missile.
Piss missiles are flowing. Missile. I can flow with the best of them. Like this guy's the shiz. But then there's times when I'm down on myself. I'm like, yo, I'm not doing a great job. We suck. Nobody wants to watch us anymore. Like the comments can get to my head. Steve knows it's a roller coaster of emotions working with me. And then I suck, and I'm very bad. Which look, it's something that you have to work through. But I think that's part of it. That's where you're able to be in that position because you do have those incredible highs. So it's working through that, right? So it's kind of cool hearing him talk about that. Go ahead.
Look, the one thing to say is, look, Anthony is a kid. Like, he's still a young kid. What is he, a redshirt sophomore? Or even a true sophomore? But the fact of the matter is, this guy does not have a ton of playing experience. The Utah game and the spike of attention that he got from that has to, once the spike goes up, right? That's the high. That's we won the game. All you can do is go up, and you just feel amazing. But once you get to the top of that peak and you have to play the next week, you have to come back down a little bit in order to get ready for the next game. And all of a sudden, that peak from going up is weight on the way down. And how you deal with that weight on the way back down to your next game, it matters. I don't know if it was a coaching thing. I don't know if it was just he was in his head thing. And what Denny says is a lot more second level than I think what you and I would be able to see. I think we saw it on the field, but we wouldn't have been able to translate it the way that Denny did, knowing that. because
Sure.
he's worked with AR so much, and because he did have some coaches that were telling him some things like he's not operating as fluid as he would like to be. But to your point, look, I think everybody has been in a situation where you walk into the room, and as soon as you walk into the room, you own the room. You know, you're confident from the second you walk in, whether it's a business situation, whether it's a personal situation, no matter what, you know, when you walk into that situation that you walked in knowing that you were going to own it. And there are certain situations that are completely converse, that are, you walked in and you're like, I feel a little bit like I'm going to have to wing this. I feel like a little bit like I don't know what I'm going to say here or talk about here or how this is going to go. You've got some uncertainty from the time that you put your foot in the door.
Yep.
And
time
gets
you
saying,
through that.
sounds like yes.
Time and experience gets you through that.
Get you through that. And he doesn't have that yet. He's a young quarterback.
Exactly.
And we'll talk about this a little bit with the USF Florida chat here when we get down to it, about what I felt like what happened in that game and what we need to see different out of him in the game moving forward with USF.
Real quick, Daniel Hollis has given a little $2 super chat for Uncle Lou's commissary fund because he got arrested this past weekend. Let's go back to the interview.
I think Mark Stoops has a better pulse on what Florida does than what Utah did. But that's what it is. And I think, you know, on some level, guys, it sucks. But at the end of the day, like, it's part of progression, right? It's part of evolving. It's part of maturation. It's stuff that I think in our regular lives we deal with all the time, is figuring out who the heck we are and what's okay and what's not. And I think that's where Anthony is, and we've had more conversations in the last 2 days on a personal level than we've ever had, and he now knows. You know, look, I woke up the next day, the sun's shining, I still got mom, I still got brother. It's okay. Like, I'm going to go out and I'm going to have fun. I'm going to play my game, right? I don't have to try to be Will Levis. I don't have to try to be all these other people, because the reality of the situation is, I guarantee you, if you went to Will Levis right now and you said, hey, you can trade bodies and skill sets with any person in NCAA football, he would probably pick Anthony, right? So I think it's just that part of his game that got exposed, and he learned a very hard and valuable lesson. And to his credit, he took the blame. I can promise you guys that as hard as you guys are being on him, he's being more hard on himself, and his expectations are higher than any of our expectations of himself. So I think it was a valuable lesson.
What were the reads and things that he wasn't seeing?
It wasn't even like not seeing. Well, I guess it is not seeing. It was not pulling the trigger. It was, I think he kind of took himself out of the run game by trying. We had this conversation a couple weeks ago about trying to go so deep in progressions that he just hung in there too long.
I got you.
Right? And it's like, man, you don't have to do that. Right? And there were, a couple times where he, skips 1 and 2, and he likes 3 pre-snap, which a lot of quarterbacks are like that. But 3 games in, you probably need to stick to the progressions on why the play is called.
You made a great point last week that even though the book says progression 1, progression 2, progression 3, and then check down, the team may be better off if he goes progression 1 and takes off.
Right.
That you said that, and
yeah.
and maybe that's what he wasn't doing.
Yeah, I think, and I actually I'll take some blame for this, because we spent the whole summer, and I've told you guys this, like, working on his pocket presence, and hey, stay in there a little bit longer because you can make all the throws, right? Maybe he took that too literal.
Yeah.
And he just didn't utilize what his greatest strength is. It doesn't mean that throwing is a weakness. It means that you are elite with your legs. Use it, right? So I think that's a large part of what happened.
Let me use an awful, me, baseball's what I know, so I keep using these baseball
analogies. I love baseball analogies.
But it really is what I think. When pitchers are uptight, they always miss high because they overthrow.
Mm-hmm.
An overthrowing guy's going to miss high, okay? They overthrow, they grip the ball, and they're missing high.
Yep.
Now, I'm not smart enough to know if it's the same, but he missed high all night.
Yep.
Is it the same?
A little bit. Yeah, a little bit. There was a little bit of a mechanical issue, but nothing he shouldn't have been able to overcome. little bit.
But
Mechanically,
the overthrows were high.
Yeah, and that's the other thing. Like I think he's got to get to that point to where he can throw a different ball than just straight gas.
Well, that's what everybody's saying.
Yeah, and that comes with being comfortable with where your people are going, not where they are now, but where they're going, and being comfortable that they're going to get there. And for the most part, they have. This isn't like, I don't think the receivers got a ton of separation, so I'm not completely excusing them. But he had some open bodies at times, and then the drops early in the game, that kind of hurt him too. But at the end of the day, we hear people talking about, okay, he can't do the backflips and he can't do this. Well, that's Anthony Richardson.
Yeah.
I want to speak to that really quick because there's something that speaks to that, is that everybody wants these guys to be in this box, right, and be confined and do what a typical quarterback does and be cool, calm, and collected, like a Tom Brady, right? He's very calm, cool. He's not the exciting guy. He's not the flashy guy. Rodgers is kind of your dick, but he's not flashy. What I love about the Lions and their coach, Dan Campbell, like, I love the guy to death and wish him nothing but success, just because, like, his passion and drive for just to be great is just inspiring. Do I think the guy can do it? I don't know. And I know we're getting off a little tangent because of his personality. I would love to see him do well because I resonate with that personality, just kind of loud and passionate. And when I see Dan Campbell, that's Dan Campbell. Whether it's Monday, Tuesday, Wednesday, whether it's on the field, off the field, behind closed doors. And that's how I am. There's no secret. Like, I feel like with Billy, right, which in like a Nick Saban is and Belichick, that's not them all the time. There's a secret version of them that we don't get to see, but that's what they've created. That's kind of how they separate work-life balance, is like when they come here, it's strictly business and it's showtime. But I can go be the fun guy here, but I can't do that, and I can't manage both. It takes a special type of person to do both and be successful, and I haven't seen many. And Dan Campbell was starting to dial that in a little bit. But with Jamal Williams, the running back, is crazy. Like, he just has a great time. Like, he's playing with the fans. He's playing catch with them before the games, listening to his music. He's doing whatever he wants. And Dan's like, yeah, I want him to do that. That's who I want him to be. And we've got to let AR do front flips and have a good time and play and dance with his candy cane. Like, they're kids. Let them play football. It's a freaking game. But look, I love this take. And he mentions too that the interception with Naquan was 100% on him. He threw the same pick. Actually, I was talking with Frank, one of my neighbors. He says threw the same pick against the Georgia. Look, it's small stuff. It's reads. It's throwing it high. It's throwing it too hard. He learned a lot, and I think that's kind of the summary here on the entire conversation on 10 XL with Dan.
Yeah, well, look, the one thing I will say on the interception is, I've rewatched a little bit of this so I could speak intelligently to the game. But if I'm not mistaken, Naquan Wright had just run the ball 3 times in a row. One of them was for a first down, which moved the chains. And then they spread Naquan Wright all the way out to the outside hash. Like, they were on the left hash and they put him all the way on the outside. And look, I think he didn't have the legs to run the route they wanted him to run. And if you look at it, when he turns around, he doesn't even try to go after the guy. Like, it felt weird that they were so strong at running the ball. It got him into the 35, 40-yard line, somewhere in there in Kentucky's zone. And then they throw that pass. It just, why are you putting Richardson in that position?
Yeah, look, I think you're nitpicking that. I think you're getting a little too granular with it. I think what he was mentioning too is that he would kind of pre-register, right? He would have his options, and he would have the third option in mind, and he would already be throwing to his third option, like in his head, like he's already going through the motions. It's in comparison of when you hear a wide receiver who drops the ball. It's like he was already running for the touchdown before he caught it. He was already throwing the ball before he even hiked it. And you saw that a few times.
But if you look at that play, Richardson didn't even look to see if the corner was going to squat or run.
That's my point, because he had already made his mind up that's where I'm going.
Yes.
He turned, I get it. Run out, and roll.
Guy out there. You put the wrong guy out there, and then you have Richardson.
Denny says that Naquan did not run the wrong route. That was Richardson.
No, that's what I mean. That's kind of my point. Is you just had a gassed, basically running back who you're going to put on the far outside.
I hear you.
Who
That's not a good call.
Plays.
Yeah.
And then Richardson's going to immediately turn and throw to him because, I mean, if you look at it, he doesn't even look first. He takes the snap, he turns and he throws. And there wasn't even a set of eyes in the area. So I think it's a little bit of both. Like, gosh, you're putting a guy in a bad situation on the outside. You're putting a kid who has felt confident with Naquan behind him in certain situations, and you just put him in a very, very awkward spot where he hasn't played. Like, that's not where that guy plays. He doesn't play way spread off the hash.
Here's where I think, kind of to settle how this is. Anthony is an athletic quarterback that has played just off of instinct and his athleticism and can play football, right? But your typical quarterback has we always say, like, has an IQ, can read plays, can read defenses, can break things down. But I think Mahomes and Kyler Murray, those guys, and Lamar Jackson, they're learning defenses, they're learning to read. But what got them there is their ability to move around and make plays on their feet and be athletic. AR moved away from that. He, like what you said last week, he tried to be Peyton Manning and tried to be able to go through his processes and break it down and be this cookie cutter quarterback that everyone expects him or hopes him or thinks that he should be, when that's not who you are. That's okay. Yeah. And he has to realize that. And I fight with that sometimes. I'm not the most organized, guy where I'm like, okay, it's boom, like, for management, right? For leadership, some of the most leaders that are counterparts are very organized with Excel sheets and books and emails and just dialed in with those things. I am farthest thing from that. But there are things that I am better at than they are, and that's why I'm able to have these conversations and be part of this. I have to realize you have to get good at those things. You cannot get good at them, but you have to stay true to what you're good at and slowly build everything else. He basically just forgot what he was good at and tried to be good at what someone else does. He tried to be Will Levis, is basically what Denny said. Like, he tried to be like that pocket passer. That's not you, bud. But
let me ask you this: was it Anthony that did that, or was it?
I think
Billy
it was
that
Anthony.
Put him in a situation?
I think it was.
But I mean, they were in a 5 wide receiver set so much.
Yeah, but
why not more power sweeps? Why not more power sets to give him? I mean, I know they ran a 2 wide receiver set a lot at the beginning, but it just got to a point where they were running 5 wide receivers, and it felt like they're almost asking the kid to be something he's not, without giving him the option of a dump off route or an out route or just a simple just get the ball out of my hands if there's pressure in my face. It felt like that went away as the game went on.
Yeah, I don't think it was play. I mean, Denny said it too. I don't think play calling was as bad as people are saying. I think that it was his read-through progression. I see what you're saying. Like, why not give him more plays that are suited, right, to having him run the ball or giving him more options? I can't really agree or disagree on that. But I don't want to beat a dead horse. I think we all had our opinion about it this week. But I do think that, look, moving into USF, Florida versus USF, which it sucks. Here's why this sucks. Here's why moving into this game is a bit of a buzzkill, because it's not fun. Right, this in a sense should be a rollover game, but it's not a game. Like, after losing such a close, tight one, like, you almost want another nail biter. You almost want another dog fight. Like, give us one, because we expect to win this by a lot. There's no question about it. It should be in a sense a preseason game, and this, no disrespect to USF, this is what it should be. This is what it's there for on the schedule. Okay, we're favored by 20 plus for a reason. We're going to see a lot of freshmen. Hopefully, we see Lingard. He's 4th on the depth chart, which came out this afternoon. Maybe we'll see Kitna as well, possibly even Kyle Ingle, if things flow the right way. What I'm excited about is just see how does he handle this. You had week 1 where you were the underdogs, week 2 where you were the favorites. You're on this speeding ticket type of high, and now you have to come back and play a team that you should walk all over, but you got a lot of learning to do. So it's going to be
a big game ahead.
With a big game to follow. Absolutely. So there's a lot of things that the coach has got to get figured out. How do you want to utilize this game? Is it going to be a game where we build back up the confidence in AR and we play this like it's a versus Utah, right? We manage this as we're like, let's go with the same game plan that we plan to go against Tennessee, right? Like, we're going to play this team like they are legit, as you should, but obviously it's easy to get away and, try new things with a team like this, especially later on, but you stay to your game plan the entire time. This is why the coaches get paid the big bucks. Okay. It's going to be interesting to see.
Better than us, because I would not want this. I would not want this on my hands.
They USF beat Howard. He's a good guy, I heard, but they crushed.
Yeah.
They took that from Steve.
You stole that from me.
They beat him. They beat him last week. They lost week 1 against BYU. Got rolled by BYU. Look, it's nothing. Again, this what sucks about it, because it's not an exciting game to talk about or to get ready for. But we're not even gonna have the cool helmets like we did last year. But I'm excited because it's at least an opportunity to breathe. I mean, every team has had a bye week, essentially 1 or 2 bye weeks this week. So it's good to see. It's good for that. And I'm excited again to see the depth. Hopefully we get to see more of the young guys get out there. We've seen a ton of young guys already, but it'll be great to see them get out there and play. And hopefully we can see AR get back into a comfortable rhythm, because I don't feel like the defense beat him last week. So even if he starts hitting some good throws and making some good passes, people are going to say, well, that's because the defense sucks and nobody was guarding and he had all day. I feel like he had that this past week. The one thing I will say is the QB spy. We'll see if that becomes a factor, if USF adapts to that and utilizes that, and let's see how Florida adjusts to that and how the play calling adjusts accordingly to that. But look, the guy wasn't making throws to open receivers last week. So I need to see that for just some comfort. Again, the pressure's not going to be there because it should be an easy game. So obviously that factor is away. But I think the pressure that he had last week had nothing to do with the game and more to do with like what Denny said is the 22 scouts and the pressure that he put on himself to be somebody who he's not. And he could have that same pressure applied to himself this weekend if he really wanted to, because you're trying to redeem yourself, right? Because you can still make a case of why you're a top SEC quarterback this week, regardless of who you're against. You go out there and throw for 300 yards and 3 touchdowns. It's like, okay, well, we forget everything we said. This kid just had a really bad game, because, again, even though it's USF, if you go throws for 300 yards, 3 touchdowns with a 70 or 50% completion rate, we're gonna be like, all right, I'm dialed in again. Let's piss him. Let's fire back up. The spacesuit's coming back on.
It's going back on. I don't know if you could take that. That would be a little bit of a drudge for you. So it is at Florida. The one thing I will say is, look, you guys have had your first 3 games at home. I know they've been tough games. This game, I think, is just, it's suited for you. The defense for USF can't keep up. This will put Anthony back into feeling a little bit more fluid in the pregame, because he's got some confidence to him. Again, you've got the 4-headed running back machine. It'll be interesting to see how they use them. It'll also be interesting to see what Billy does with Richardson. Does he try to get some confidence back in him by using him athletically and using his legs? Does he want to see if he can get kind of back into a rhythm on the throwing side of things? I don't think when it comes to USF's offense, it's going to matter very much. I know you guys have a couple of injuries on the defense.
And Venture Miller's out, which is a bummer.
Yeah, but I don't think that's going to matter. So I think you're strong enough on the defensive side of the ball to the point where you can let your offense be itself and not try to make it something it's not, which it kind of felt like it was last week. So I think this is a game where you let your offense just kind of get out there, run some plays to get comfortable, get some running game going, let Richardson get into the flow of the game, maybe Pearsall with, 100 yards and 2 running backs with 100 yards, Anthony with about 60. That seems like the game it is to just kind of execute plays the right way, keep the quarterback engaged the entire game, start to finish. Maybe if things go well, by the 3rd quarter, you have somebody like a Kitna playing from, the start of the 4th quarter to the end, which would be an ideal situation for you guys.
And Lorenzo hopefully gets a few reps. We'll see how he does, and maybe he can make kind of a late push and have some love for the Tennessee game. Look, it's going to be to me, it's a big scrimmage / spring game for that Tennessee game. I think Tennessee is beyond beatable. Actually, what we're going to do too is I have a neighbor, Frank. He's a huge Tennessee fan, listens to the show. I'm going to have him on. We're going to bring him on, get his take from a Tennessee fan perspective. I think it'll be good. We love that. We live for that moment of, to get in the other side. Obviously, we have Steve here, an FSU fan, so it's good to not always have just a one-sided base of where we're just kind of blowing the Gators the whole time. So it'll be interesting to see. He watches college football. Guys, dial it in. So really quick, though, before we hop into the pick'ems, we have a sponsorship with MyBookie, and we always love to show some love there. So if you guys want to help us out and get a membership or create an account with MyBookie. Winning season has officially returned with the NFL preseason and football season, and there are plenty of opportunities to win in MyBookie. Whether you're a season better or a first-time better, MyBookie gets you the most for your money with a double deposit bonus up to $1,000. To claim your bonus, sign up and use the promo code HIGHTOP on your first deposit, and you will instantly double your money with MyBookie. It's simple. A $250 deposit puts $500 into your account, and you can use your funds to bet on as many individual games and contests or props as you want. Bet on team win totals, predict the Super Bowl winner, or use the MyBookie prop builder to give yourself the edge you need to secure the bag. Bet anything, anytime, anywhere with MyBookie. So we love it. Those guys have been great. We've been having some fun with them, putting our bets in our little parlays, and having a good time. We suck at our picks. I do want to preface.
We have to be better at this.
Yeah, I almost feel like you guys should take everything we tell you and fade them, because that's kind of where we're at right now. The record is 6-9. I am 6 for 9, 6 right, 9 incorrect, and Holly is 5-10. We have a trophy. Let me grab the trophy real quick, Steve.
So if anybody doesn't know, many moons ago, Shelton and I would get into a pick-em war, and we decided that we were so committed to this pick-em war that we would get a trophy. We would get a giant trophy to just show one another our bravado and to just embarrass one another on how good we were at these pick'ems. Now, right now, neither one of us deserve to even have this trophy anywhere near us. That being said, ladies and gentlemen, we're bringing this puppy back.
Yeah, so
we're bringing this puppy back.
We have a little slot for our names here, and it's called the BDE Pick'ems because that's what we were called before High Top. So it's the Fantasy Football League champion because that's the only trophy we could find that was this big. But you guys get the point. BDE Pick'ems. So this is after starting this week. Whoever wins this week is gonna get their name back on the trophy there, and.
Yeah, we do it Stanley Cup style. So you always get a plaque every time you win.
Yeah,
and it just
we're a bunch of losers. We just need to be, I think Steve's winning right now. Steve has 2, I have 1. So it's a tight one. Also, too, says simply AK says stop taking your videos down after the shows. We haven't taken one video down. They're all up there, all up for us to be roasted and reminded that we suck. So B Bean, I think he's getting roasted here. From the boys, they're going nonsense on him. Let's see what the chat's saying before we go into the pick'ems here. You guys are talking about, I see the depth chart a little bit. Shamir James was not starting. From what I saw on the depth chart. Let me see here. What did I have? Hold on, here it is right here. For linebacker, it was Bernie and then Scooby Williams were the 2 starters, and Shamir James was the second. But this depth chart's been weird because obviously we've seen Naquan still first, then Montreal, then Trevor, but it doesn't feel that way when the game starts. So I don't know what's behind that because I truly don't feel that Naquan's the starter. I mean, he's getting the start obviously, but it doesn't feel like he's getting starter reps in my opinion. What's the ETA on Miller's injury? So when they asked him on the press conference today, he said, they go, hey, how long is he? He goes, he's out for this game. I was reading the comments, and people were saying, that's usually not a good thing. If there's no news, that's usually not good news because it's like we don't really want to talk about it. Hopefully it's not too long. I'm pretty sure he was limping off the field, so something to do with his ankle somewhere in that lower area, which is frustrating. Look, thankfully this week isn't that big of a week, so if there's a week to rest, it is this one. Would be nice to have him back for Tennessee, but I don't know. I haven't heard any news on a sense if he has, like a boot on or anything. But him being on the field is going to be missed for sure. No Vols. We're going to have the Vols. You guys, we got to have, look, guys, we like to talk Gators, but we like to have everybody on here. I think it's good to have all the sides on there. Could he be out for Tennessee? I think so. By the way that Billy was talking, he just kind of like wanted to move on fairly quickly from it. I think that it's more than likely that he's out. What's up, Daniel? What's up, Kevin Ray? What's up, man? Let's see
Daniel,
here.
What's up, buddy? Tim Lombardi.
Oh, we had a little super chat from a man in North Florida. Says, can you hit that Holly Go Gators button one time? I mean, for you, North Florida white trash, I mean, it's for the people, Steve. This isn't my fault, Steve.
Go Gators.
Nice shorts. Thank you. All right, here.
He does this all the time. I'm surprised that you guys haven't called him out for this before. Every once in a while he'll slide back in that chair a little too far, and you can see that he's wearing the short shorts.
Yeah, they said big
Because, he's
booty. I
always
think
rocking
I stood up. I stood up so everyone could see him. DUI. Shorty, I was talking about Uncle Lou. Yeah, we're here to take. Yes, Gator gang, you made the depth chart. Uncle Lou got trashed. He did. He got a little too zoomy. What's up, Mama?
More
How you doing?
Hey, there we go. We got an odd reciting. What's up, baby?
All right, boys. So let's go ahead. Let's dive into the pick'ems. You know what we're thinking about doing, guys? We are going to do it. We're going to decide whether we start it this Saturday or next Saturday. We want to do college game day, but we want to do it high top sports way. Obviously, the goal would be once we get big enough, we could go and travel around and go to different colleges and be part of game day wherever. But
like
look,
we did for Florida.
But be like a legit setup, and we kind of have some fun. But we gotta have some time before we get there. But we want to make you guys a part of this. So we're thinking about doing a show on Saturday where Saturday morning around like 10, I think 10 or 11. Yeah, 10 or 11, 10:30, 11, and having you guys call in. And we do a pick'em show just like they do on College Game Day, but the fans get to pick the winners and losers, and we have a running tally for the fans. And have you guys involved with the show. I think that's what College Game Day is. I mean, what is it? You all come together and we all watch Lee Corso and Herb Street and Desmond Howard and the boys, and now Pat McAfee on College Game Day at whatever they're at, and talk about college football. And so we want to make you guys a part of that. Let us know what you guys think in the comments. We'll put a little maybe a survey up and see what you guys think. I think it would be a good time. I think it'd be something different than what everyone else is doing and make it more interactive. And that's kind of what you guys enjoy about the show too, is that again, we're one big family and you guys have your own show, and I think it'll be fun to how it will flow. I don't know, but we'll pick basically a random game out of a hat, and then whoever calls, they've got to be responsible for picking the winner of that game. So,
yep. So then we'll have my picks, we'll have Shelton picks, and then we'll have your picks collectively. Yeah, and then we'll see how we all stack up, because right now Shelton and I are not doing the absolute best. Oh my gosh, they are just going ham.
I love it. All right, boys. So let's go ahead and let's get into the pick'ems. Steve, let's hear them. Roll it out, sir.
Cool. We've got quite a few, so we're going to go down these puppies hot. First and foremost, we might take a second on this one because I don't know. It's the Friday night game. We got FSU at Louisville. The line right now is FSU
at Louisville?
Giving at Louisville. Yeah. FSU is giving 2.5. I'll let you go first.
So FSU's favored?
FSU is favored by 2.5.
I'll take Louisville.
Ooh, that makes sense. Like I don't hate that. I don't hate that pick. This is FSU. We're opening conference play. It's a Friday night. It's on the road. Travis is the better quarterback per se.
I agree.
Cunningham hasn't thrown a touchdown yet this year. He's got 2 picks, but he's also run for 200 yards. That is scary. Louisville is giving up 200 yards a game, which is exactly what FSU wants to do in running the ball in order to open up the passing game. I think FSU starts to get a little bit of they're starting to stack wins here. I think we're going to see FSU cover. FSU wins.
I'm making it audible. I agree. I want to be a hater, but I feel like what's up, Tim Lombardi? I feel like
up,
FSU is on a little bit of a roll. So
all right, so we're both on FSU.
Yes.
I should dock you for this. All right. Georgia at South Carolina. Now, I think everybody understands that Georgia's going to roll. However, the line, Georgia, is giving 24.5 points. Shelton.
Georgia's that dog. Georgia is that dog. And Spencer Rattler, welcome to the SEC, my friend.
Yeesh, man, that is a large point spread on the road. I know it's a noon game. It's going to be a snoozer. I'm going to, you know what? I'll switch it up. I think that's way too many points to give away. I think Georgia wins, but they fail to cover. So I'm going to take South Carolina to not get the 24.5.
Okay.
All right. Next up, we have UConn. That's right. The University of Connecticut. The Huskies are not just a women's basketball team. They are a football team, people. They are a football team. And they are going to be playing at the University of Michigan in Ann Arbor. Now, look, this seems like a giveaway, but Michigan is giving 47 points. 47. You want me to take this one, Shelley?
Yeah. Go ahead.
Look, the Michigan's averaging right now, I want to say 53 points a game. I'm going to say they win clearly, but I am going to say they fail to cover. So I will take UConn.
Yeah, I agree. I think
right.
I don't think they cover 47. It's ridiculous. Dave Soderquist in the chat, what's up, big dog? He says that he thinks Georgia loses.
What's up, my man? Well, with a little stupid face, yeah. All right, fair enough. All right, so look, you and I, Shelton, we have not done very well at this little game that we are playing called Pick'ems. I think we need a bit of a laydown.
Okay.
Look, we're tired of playing too close to the line here.
Sure.
What are your thoughts?
Yeah, please give me one if there is one.
Gosh. Oklahoma at Nebraska.
This seems crazy.
Nebraska, who is in shambles, who has no Scott Frost, who this guy literally took a knee as a coach. He took a loss. Let's be honest, guys. He took a loss as a coach because he knew he was going to get $15 million if he got fired after that game. You know what would have happened if they waited 3 more weeks? 7.5. Scott Frost knew he was on the way out. He tanked a game. Shelton, you can disagree with me. We've talked about it a little bit here and there.
No, I fully believe that. These college coaches are getting paid. He gets $15 million. He falls back. He's going to be like an offensive coach or some ball boy at Bama and be right back here before we know it.
Yeah,
Brian Bell, thank you for subscribing.
Hey, appreciate you, my man. Look, it's Oklahoma giving 13.5 against Nebraska with no coach, and it's Nebraska. I'll take this one. I'm going to go with Oklahoma covers the 13.5.
Yeah, I think that one. I mean, we're agreeing too much for right now, but yeah, I think Oklahoma definitely covers. That's
you keep jumping on my bandwagon.
You're right, Steve. I'll go first next.
You're right. Oh, no, I'm glad for that one because the next one is number 12, BYU, who just pulled off an amazing upset against Baylor, goes to Oregon.
Yeah.
Number 25, Oregon. Is a 3:30 game in case anybody is curious. The line right now is Oregon giving 4 against BYU.
Oregon's favored?
Yes.
I'll take BYU
Oregon,
all day.
Oregon negative 4.
BYU all day.
Yeah. Gosh, the Cougars' schedule is so good. We talked about this a little bit off the cast. They've got Baylor, Oregon. They got Arkansas coming up. Notre Dame is going to be a game, but it just doesn't look like it anymore. I'll say Oregon. Oregon covers. Oregon covers the spread.
Okay.
All right.
We got a few Michigan covers in here.
Okay. All right. All right. Guys,
OU by 103. Scott Frost.
We're going to stay down here in the SEC. Yes, he did for sure. Penn State, number 22, is going to Auburn. 3:30 CBS. This may be the last couple times you get to hear your boy Gary Danielson. Penn State at Auburn. What do you think?
Who's favored?
Penn State -3. So yeah.
Penn State at Auburn. This is a tough one. I'm gonna pick Auburn to cover, or I'm gonna pick Auburn with the 3 points. They're gonna yeah. That's the basically.
So Auburn.
Penn State's giving Auburn 3, correct?
Yes, correct.
Yeah, I'll take Auburn.
If it was any other school, look, we talked about the Big Ten East, whatever they call them, whatever the division is. That's the better side of the conference. They play in big stadiums. Penn State plays at Ohio State. They play in Michigan. I don't think they get too blown away by the atmosphere in Auburn. I'm going to say Penn State covers the spread. They win by more than 3. Okay. So I'm going to go with Penn State there. I hate to do it because I hate
that's a tough one. Yeah.
It's ugly. Now, this is a game that I think the cast is going to love because we all love to hate Texas A&M and Jimbo Fisher. And my gosh, what in the world did you do, Jimbo? Last week, you went all down your leg. So we have number 16, Miami, at Texas A&M. Texas A&M, right now, when I did this line has changed 100 times. When I wrote all this stuff out, Texas A&M was favored by 6. So
I
it is
hate that.
Texas A&M -6.
I hate that. I'm taking Texas A&M.
Hold on. You're taking Texas A&M even
Yep.
though they're given 6 points?
Yep.
Oh, gosh. Miami has its quarterback situation figured
Steve,
out.
if you want me to change my pick, I will. Go ahead and make your pick.
No.
Hold on. You had them. First of all, you questioned me. You had them in your Final Four, remember? It's going to be Bama. It's going to be Texas A&M. And now you're questioning me on a 6-point favor against Miami?
Yep.
You got your flip-flops on, Steve? You got your flip-flops on, Steve?
I'm wearing socks.
Make your pick.
Miami wins. Miami wins without the points.
So you're picking. Okay, so hold on. You're going to be this cocky about it. You don't get 5 points. You don't get your points. So if you don't know, you're saying Miami wins. So you're saying straight up. You're saying straight up. You don't get your points. You want to come in here.
Miami's going to win straight. Oh no! Hold on.
No. You don't get You don't get to come in here flaunting. You don't get to come in here flopping your peacock wings, thinking you're hot shit, questioning my pick, and then bow out. Own it. You want to say it? Pick it straight up. How about this? Let's do it straight up. I'm taking Texas A&M straight up. You take Miami straight up. No points at all. Get rid of them. Be a man.
Straight up, let's go.
All right. That's what I thought.
All
Idiot.
Right. That's all I got. Hold on. So we got a couple more here. We have USC and Fresno State. Fresno State is not favored. Give me 1 second here. I lost my tab.
Gator Gang is saying the video is bad of Uncle Lou. Can someone send me the video? I want to see what happened with Uncle Lou. Would be funny to see Texas A&M fans drag. What's the other games? Shelton's triggered. I am triggered.
He is. He's hot. All right, so we have USC. Give me a second. I got to pull it back up here. USC Fresno State.
What's the point spread? It's like 12? It's like 12. Yeah, I got USC all day to cover.
USC all day. Oh my gosh, that's ridiculous. We had Charlotte.
Yeah, this is a fun one. Charlotte and Georgia Southern, right? Or Georgia State?
Yeah, it's Georgia State.
They're both defeated. Not a team has won. And I want to say it's like 13 or something like that.
Oh, here it is.
No, 20. Georgia State's favored by 20 against Charlotte.
20.
And I'm taking Georgia State to cover 20.
Yeah, they're both Charlotte's 0-3 and Georgia State's 0-2.
You're going to pick Charlotte. I see it all over your face. You're a Charlotte guy. You wear green every day.
Yep, that's exactly it. It really brings out my eyes. The stats just don't give any team an advantage except for the fact that Georgia State's scheduled to beat them by 90%. I'll take Charlotte just to mix it up a little bit.
All right, then we got NC State and Texas Tech. NC State's favored by 10 at NC State.
I'll take NC State. I don't think people give enough credit to the NC State environment. NC State Stadium gets rocking on big games, so I'm going to take the NC State.
They play in a crap division. I'm taking Texas Tech.
Because both of the divisions are so strong.
Texas Tech's solid. Texas Tech is solid. Aren't they in the Big 12? Yeah, they are. They are solid. We were just talking about how great the Big 12 is. So, yeah, suck on that one, Steven. Twist it around.
Take it long, take it hard.
Yeah, email it to me, Gator Gang. I want to see it. I want to see the video.
Don't you dare hold that back on me, Shelton.
What?
I've been trying to look this up for weeks. You know this.
He says he put it in the Discord.
Oh, even better.
All right, so we will.
Which is another reason why you should be liking and subscribing, so you can get this kind of top level info, people.
Yeah, the spiciness, the love and joy. All right, boys and girls, let's have a good weekend. It has been slow and quiet on the Gator front. It's been depressing. It's been rough. Nobody's coming out. Everyone's in hiding. Let's get over it. Let's move on. Let's have a great weekend. We're really working out these shows and how we want to do them. We want to do more of them. We want to have some more NFL-style type of shows. We're really trying to figure this out and do what's best for you guys and what's best for us and how we can create the best content. So we also had a little interview with some Kentucky fans this past week, and go check out that video. It was absolutely hilarious. One of the shorts kind of got a little poppy. Yeah, it was a good time. It was a blast. We enjoyed it, so go check that out. Make sure you guys are new here and you liked what you saw today. Be sure to like and subscribe. Drop a like. Got a few dislikes today, which I always love for those guys to come out and hang out with us. Probably Uncle Lou from his prison cell. But make sure you guys like, subscribe, turn on the bell. Tune in. We will be live this Sunday. We haven't decided on a time yet for Sunday. We put a little poll up. You guys said 3:30. It's a weird. It's right in the middle of NFL.
Feels strange.
Feels strange.
Yeah, you're talking about right in the middle of games. Like,
it's weird. But you guys, High Top Sports hats are in. Go check them out. Links in the description. We only have a limited supply. They are the links on the store at the on the merch store. It's on the last page. I'm going to move it to the front. So go check those bad boys out. Be here Sunday morning to criticize our picks and see how Steve and I did. Hopefully, I can put my name on the hat. But until next time, guys, like, subscribe. We will see you then. I'm Sheldon.
and I'm Holly.
Boogity boogity, boys. See you guys. Ow. All super chat from Daniel. What did he say? What did he say?
Oh, no.
AR is the Gators' downfall. My gosh. Really, Daniel?
On the ride.
You can never run. So fight and die for the things you know you love. Do what you think is right and see life do what you want. So fight and die for the things you know you love.
Go Braves, baby. Go Braves.
Do what you think is right.
Nice, Soderquist.